Hey, everybody, welcome back to another amazing show. This is Real Estate Uncensored, where you guys are going to get everything you need to be an amazing human being and then some. And the kitchen sink is thrown in there as well. Now, talking about a lot of stuff mixed into one show, guys. This is a 2-for-1. We call it a twofer. You're going to get two shows for the price of one admission. Please pay with PayPal on the way out. We truly appreciate it. Helps keep the lights on over at the Volpe household. But we are going to be talking about how to get listings, and then we have a secret topic of how much is too much. And there it is. Oh, someone just bought a
Lights
t-shirt
are
on the
out.
show. His
Yeah.
lights just came back on. All right.
Thank you for your donation.
Every donation, even if it's 5 cents, it helps put my kids through college. Mr. Gene Volpe, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I like coming to these things, and I hope everybody knows by now that I don't make a goddamn red cent for any of this stuff. I'm just out here giving you all the goods because I love you.
And he has a couple of restraining orders that he's still fighting for giving people all the goods on the streets of San Francisco.
Too many goods at the kids' playgrounds.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I didn't even go there. And I don't even have kids.
Oh, my God.
Canceled.
All right, well,
Immediately canceled.
Well, Gene is out giving the goods to everybody. Mr. Nick Sackis, there for Shrinking Man. What up, homeboy?
Well, yeah, it is a little early. We are on a 10 a.m. show. We never change the title, so our 10 a.m. show is coming in hot. Even though it's 1:20 p.m. over here in sunny Florida, which we have our own problems. But yeah, I think this show's interesting. I wanted to kind of jump in and talk about 3 simple steps. I did a training this past week in our Likely.ai group. Which if you guys aren't in there, I suggest you join because we got a lot of cool stuff going on, and 3 steps to your next listing, right? We're in a time right now with real estate agents and just in general, a lot of uncertainty in the market overall. And then agents right now are frantic on how to get their next listing, right? So we had an interview with a market center, a Keller Williams Market Center operating principal, and it was about 12 months ago, but it's still very relevant. And so his name is Stephen Gindel, great guy, and does a ton of business, right? Hundreds and hundreds of listings. And so he implemented a very simple 3-step system for his market center at Keller Williams that we translated that into kind of like a playbook style training for all likely users. And it's very simple. And so the thing that I want to stress about this is everybody's looking for the shiny penny all the time. And we talk about artificial intelligence, and obviously that's a hot topic right now. Everybody's looking for like the ChatGPT code and all the different apps that are out there and everything. And Likely, to a certain extent, even though it's been around for a while, is kind of a new buzzword in the market. And so what we're doing right now is kind of going back and blending a new school technology, which is Likely artificial intelligence for real estate, and then 3 simple steps that you can use with that technology in order to get your next listings. So the first simple step, right? And you can use this. So I'll preface this by saying you don't have to use Likely data, right? We would love for you to join Likely. You get a 14-day free trial, Likely.ai. Go check us out. We have the best data in the industry for sure. But you can use this process even with like expired listings or for sale by owner lists or any other lists that you can pull. Maybe you get something from your title company, people that have been in their home for 10 years or 20 years. Like there's all these different lists that you can buy. I'm just a little biased because ours is the best, right? So the first step would be to take the people who are highest likely to move. So the people that you feel, whether you buy a list from somebody else or you get our list will tell you, here's the people with the highest probability to move. The thing that you should do first is call these people. Like this is not rocket science. You guys are familiar with this show because Greg McDaniel is the cold calling ninja of all ninjas, the junior grandmaster, and he's made hundreds of thousands of phone calls in his career. It absolutely works, right? So people who you know are highest likely to move right now, you get them on the phone, you do a 10 days of pain, or if you're a Likely user and they're part of your database and sphere, you should know them anyway to actually give them a call. The second part of this process, number 2, so number 1 is going to be try to get them on the phone and talk to them. Duh, right? Not a big deal. The second part of this is we utilize a company called Yellow Letters Complete, and I'll put that in the comments. It's called Yellow Letters Complete. They have a full suite of postcards, a full suite of actual mail, letters that they will look handwritten that you can actually pick from. They call them magic letters. And so you set these people up on these Yellow Letter Complete campaigns. It's very basic. It's very simple. There's probably a dozen or 2 dozen of these that you can actually pick from as far as campaigns. So you can modify them if you want, but they're out of the box, ready to go. And so you set the people up on these campaigns, whether it's once a week or going out or twice a week going out. And now that's locked and loaded. So you're trying to get them on the phone, 10 days of pain. You're setting them up on a direct mail drip campaign, whether it's postcards or letters. We recommend the letters. They work really, really well. You could pick them from Yellow Letters Complete. And then the third step, which is, I think, is a ninja step, which seems obvious because we all have IDX websites, some capacity, right? Your broker, whether it's Keller Williams, you have Command. If you're with, EXP, you get KV Core. Everybody's got a CRM of some kind that has an IDX feed. So what we tend to do as real estate agents, the shiny penny is like, oh, what Facebook ad is working the best, or what TikTok is working, or YouTube pre-roll. And we automatically go in this mindset of what ads do I put out in the market for people to click on, to land on my IDX feed, to then get put on a drip sequence. Okay. I want to reverse that. So if you're specifically using likely data, we know the people who are highest likely to move. We don't need those people to click on an ad because we already know who they are. So we're reverse engineering this process. We're calling them, we're sending them drip, direct mail campaigns, and then we're taking all the people that we know are highest likely to move and or moderate or low, and we're actively putting them inside of our CRM and signing them up for a neighborhood specific snapshot. Because we know these people are likely to move. We know they're in market. We know they're looking on Zillow and Realtor.com. So they might as well be getting an email from you on a weekly basis about market updates that are going on in their specific neighborhood. Again, this is not rocket science, but this is a very simple 3-step process that Stephen Gindle's used. Dozens of other people from Likely, since we talked to Stephen about his process. He's got other Keller Williams agents using this. This is a very, very effective strategy for hyper targeting people with an omnipresent approach. And if you wanted to, you could add retargeting style Facebook ads on the back end of that, which we can get into later. But that's a very simple 3-step. Call these people immediately, set them up for direct mail because direct mail is working right now and Yellow Letters Complete has it completely done. And then set them up on an IDX style drip specifically for their neighborhood. That's the important part. It's got to be neighborhood update for their neighborhood that they're going to actually see 123 Main Street, their zip code, whatever, and updates going on because they're already in that thought process. So you might as well send them an email. That's the 3 steps. It's stupid simple. And I've talked for too long.
You probably talked for longer than it takes you to do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? It's like one of those things where you get when you explain it, it's like, I should have just did it myself.
I could have just done it right then. Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, but you did a great job explaining it. I mean, you did a very good job of architecturally.
Articulating. There you go.
Baby Jesus.
Tickling. I like to tickle.
I need another cup of coffee. Apparently, the lack of sleep in the last 3 days is astonishing.
Oh, boy.
So that's high tech. Realistically, Nick, from what you're experiencing with a lot of people with and without AI assistance, either in predictive for data or AI assistance with GPT or any other source out there, how many people are actually going to put this into action? I mean, literally follow the footprints you just left in the sand.
Less than 1%.
Why?
Because this is funny. Okay, so I'll try to not get canceled.
You're canceled. Show's over.
Ideas are not the thing, right? It's implementation. We all know that.
True.
So how many ideas have we pitched on this show versus how many people are going to actually implement? It's the reason why, and I'll give you a perfect example because my mom specifically gets a little upset with me about how much stuff I give away for free. Like
I had the same conversation with my father.
I'll, just coming on this show and giving away secret sauce. And she's like, why do you just tell everybody exactly what you're doing? I'm like, because I know if I sit in a room in front of 100 people or talk online in front of 1,000 people, that everyone's going to write furious notes. Half the people in the room are going to write notes. Half the people are going to listen and smile and nod. And then 1 out of 1,000 are going to go and actually implement it. And we live in an abundant world of there's plenty of opportunity for everybody. So if the one person that listens to it, writes the notes, and then implements it, I'm happy with that, right? It's not everybody in the market is not going to take your sauce. And especially with something like this, I can tell you firsthand, This isn't sexy, right? People have already started listening to me talking about the 3 simple steps and already clicked off because they know it. I already know this. I don't need to listen to this guy talk anymore because I know how to do what he just said. Well, there's a problem there. It's a disconnect. You probably know that you shouldn't be going to McDonald's and eating a double quarter pounder and fries before you go to bed at night, and yet you still do it, right? So like it's the taking the ego out of the equation, listening to people who have done it, listen to proven processes, and actually implementing it is the key to all of this.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's as you guys may or may not know, I was the head trainer for my brokerage for a long period of time, and I literally gave away my entire playbook. I mean, down to my vendors' names and phone numbers. Like, this is what we do. Here are our templates. You ask them for the McDaniel, template. They'll give it to you exactly what we already have. Here are the people. Here are the places. Here's to talk to. Here's everything. Go. Less than 1%. Even did anything with it. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what does that say about your competition right now? It means that you already have a leg up. Here's a big if here, all capitals, if you take action in some way, shape, or form. Thinking about it and doing mental masturbation doesn't do fucking shit for your handbook, right? You're not going to put any money in your pocketbook. You're not going to put any clothes on your kid's back. You're not going to put any diamonds on your wife's neck. You're not going to go on any trips to build memories with your family if you don't take action in some way, shape, or form. The reason why you're married, the reason why you have kids is because you took action, if you know what I mean, in a certain aspect of your life, and bada bing, bada boom, da-da, I have a spouse, I have a child. Well, motherfuckers, do the same thing in your business. Take action and enjoy it, whatever it is. I mean, you can modify this. Nick's throwing out some scenarios that has worked for very successful people, but if you have a different take on it, do it, but do something, because you know what, Gene Volpe, Nick Sackis, Greg McDaniel, and everybody else listening to my voice right now, if you don't do it, they're going to do it. End of story. You will be left behind.
The crazy part about all of it is I know you can talk to 100. Let's find 100 of the most successful real estate agents we've ever interviewed on this show, right? The one most common thing that all of them share is they almost all, 98% of them, have very boring, predictable businesses.
Yes.
Because they do the fundamentals. They might implement a couple of things on an annual basis, right? So like the big business owners that I've talked to as far as real estate teams, like if they want to go from 500 transactions a year to 1,000 transactions a year, they might go to a mastermind and they might implement one thing, one nugget that they took. They're still going to do all the pillars that they're currently doing. They might take one nugget and test it for 90 days or 6 months and then reconvene and see. What we do as squirrel brains, independent owner operators, people who are running their own business and trying to do marketing and everything, like you don't have departments, you don't have people working for you. You're everything that your business is. Once we start doing one thing, we stop doing another thing. And it's this constant back and forth of where am I going to put my time and attention? Whereas other boring business owners have a stable base of 4 or 5 things of fundamentals that they do all the time. And then they're just adding one more thing. And as they add one more thing, they can add more peoples and systems and things to that thing to where now that becomes a fundamental stage. And then maybe it's one more thing. And that's how they grow. So if these 3 things in your business aren't fundamental, then make them fundamental. Make the calls fundamentals, make the direct mailing fundamental, and make the IDX feed part of your fundamentals that are just getting done all the time. And then if you want to add Facebook ads next month, right, it's that one thing. And then you focus on that one thing while still doing the other fundamentals.
Yeah, the fundamentals are number one. There's a guy named Howard that I do calls with. There's a whole crew of guys I do calls with all day long, almost every single day, which is actually a lot of friggin' fun. But Howard has been in the business for more than not Howard. Yeah. He's been in the business for a little bit. Excuse me, got something stuck in my mouth. That's disgusting. But he made it really clear. Shut up, Gene. I see that smirk on your face, and I know where your brain went. But he said real estate's numbers, and it is. It purely is numbers. Just putting out enough content. Or the old adage, it's a contact sport. It is a contact sport, contacting individuals. So Nick, you're going along with a lot of high tech, easy to use, but a lot of folks won't put it into action. So let's have a little bit of fun with this thing. Some of the AI programs I've been messing around with, I Googled articles on real estate versus stock investments, and I found a couple of great articles. Then I went to Chat GPT and I said, please summarize this in an easy to read format, and it popped out like less than a page of hard hitting data points with comparisons. And so my question to you is this: let's say someone says, fuck you, not doing video, not doing this, and we've been sitting here for 7-8 years at this point preaching it from the high hills, but if you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. What I did is I was able to copy and paste the content, the written form, into an AI, and then subsected it out automatically. I changed it all to a very distinguished British man, and I wasn't British, by the way. I think it was Scottish or something stupid. But then he read the entire boring thing about the difference between stocks and real estate investing, and I was literally interested. I'm like, ooh, tell me more, good sir. How can we take that and create that into a video versus, grabbing the content of an article, turn it into text, then text into video, and then having an assistant or someone post that out onto social media on a consistent basis so you never have to be in front of a camera again, and it's all at a very low basis? How would we go about that, gentlemen?
Well,
I'm
gonna throw this to Gene, because we were talking pre-show about posting too much versus quality versus quantity. And so my argument right now, I'll be the devil's advocate here. That's usually Gene, but I'll say that it sounds like a good idea, right? It sounds like a really good idea to have Chat GPT spin up some articles and then go to DID or Synthesia or any other AI content, or use, create your own avatar and your own voice and not use a British actor or whatever, and then post just a whole bunch of content online where you don't need to use your face, but it's your avatar or maybe your voice. Does that really strike? So I'm going to give you an example here. When YouTube really started blowing up 5 or so years ago for real estate agents, like the trend really started of, I need a YouTube channel and I need to start doing content around my local neighborhoods. The biggest difference between, and this goes for just content in general now, short form or whatever, the biggest difference between people who really get views and attention versus not, and this is we're doing this right here right now, is the amount of effort that you put in towards your video is immediately distinguishable to viewers, right? And so what I mean by that is somebody who goes out and spends 4 to 6 hours doing a tour of their neighborhood and creates a vlog about it, and then goes back and spends 12 hours editing it and then posts it on YouTube, and they're only doing one quality video a week, but they're actually out in the neighborhood and they're actually doing the things and they're talking to people and they make really, really good content. That one video is going to do far better than an agent in between calls with a green screen in the background and having B-roll and trying to pretend like they're out. Versus, so the amount of effort is not there, right? That person that's going live on StreamYard and just regurgitating some stuff is a simple thing to do now that used to be difficult, but that's a very low effort activity versus somebody who takes the time to actually do the thing. So that's what's happening with AI right now. People are going, oh, I don't have to be on camera anymore. I could just have an avatar and I could just have Chat GPT write the thing. It's a very low effort medium. And you're not going to get the attention that you think you will, because the viewer of that is going to recognize that as low quality and not give it as much attention as you think they should.
Okay.
Rant over.
That was a hard stop.
That was a long thought.
I'm throwing it up to Gene. Of like, so you ran into this with one of your clients, like quality versus quantity, and you're seeing some decline on some posts that I think it's more relevant now than ever, because we come from this age of like, well, just post. Well, are you getting engagement? Are you actually looking at the numbers to see, is your engagement going up? Because all of the people that are telling you to post right now are also saying on their next video, it's okay if you only get 5 or 6 views, because if you went to a room with 5 or 6 people, like that would be okay. You'd be cool with that, right? Meanwhile, other people who are actually putting effort in their videos are crushing fucking skulls and getting hundreds of thousands of views because they're making really good content. So from my point of view, what you're putting out really matters, quantity matters a little bit, but the quality, everybody's game is stepped up tenfold now because it's too easy.
Nick, I'm going to cut you off there because I'm going to completely agree with you. I've looked at different TikTok videos or different Instagram videos, and instantaneously I will click away if I'm like, what the fuck are you just this is bullshit. Click done. But when it really catches me, I'll sit there and watch the dumbest shit forever because I'm like, it's well done. So I agree with you. I think Ramon out of North Carolina, he's doing one video a week about different restaurants he does, and he spends some time doing it. It really shows, right? And then there's some other folks who I see not put the time in, and the videos don't get the same interaction.
I think real estate is really turned into, I hate to say this, but I think it's turned into a young man's and young woman's game. Like I really do. The amount of effort and energy that you have to put into making content. Like if you're 50, 60 years old, and I promise you, if you've been in business for 15, 20 years, all these conversations I'm having is just like, these agents are just like, oh my God, I have to do all of this content. Like, it's just like their soul is just leaving their body. Like, is this really necessary? Meanwhile, the 20-year-old,
my age bracket, right? That's generally my age bracket. It's definitely Gene's age bracket.
That's what I'm saying. But like that's the consensus right now. And that's why these 20-something-year-olds and 30-year-olds are eating everybody's lunch, because they're just waking up, making content and just going hard in the paint. They don't know how to write a contract or negotiate a contract or know what an addendum is, but they made 25 really good videos last week, right?
That's true.
It's just what it is, man.
Well, I mean, some of the video tools that are out there, like I'm looking at going really looking hard at either vidIQ, but I'm really leaning towards TubeBuddy to really create my videos and paying the $120 a month or $135 a month or whatever it is, because they take a lot of the stress of creating the videos, the thumbnails, A/B test splits, all kinds of stuff off of your plate. So all you have to do is go read an article, barf it out on camera, give your points of view, and moving forward with life. To get intimate out there, that's going to take a little bit of equipment and a little bit of time and a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of planning. So, but I mean, if you're going to plan to go to a networking event and sit there and be bored as shit and eat the free food and leave and not talk to anybody, what was the point of it? To say you went to a marketing event or spend the same amount of time creating content that's going to be relevant to people who aren't already in your marketplace, who might be coming in that need to know about it. I mean, that's one of the things. I didn't even know that, but I'm segueing into the next segment here.
Well, I didn't let Gene answer. We didn't let Gene answer. I threw the question.
Motherfucker, why do you got a cock block? I just said that was a clean, smooth transition. Okay, Gene, back to Gene. God damn it.
I have been quiet because there's so many friggin' moving targets, right? Like, I don't. It depends on how I wake up in the morning. Is how I feel about whether more content's better than less content that has higher quality. I think ultimately it ends up, and I wish the target wasn't moving so often from the perspective of each platform, right? Like you kind of alluded to it in the beginning of the segment. We were talking about I'm having issues with these numbers. So like we've basically doubled down on all of our content production, but LinkedIn has hamstrung our impressions by 50%. So we're doing double and we're getting half, right?
Yeah.
And that, like this is kind of what brought this up. And this is sort of a segue, Greg. I'm kind of segueing it for you here. It's do we do more content more often through more channels, or do I slow it down? And like, is it only on LinkedIn? Right? Maybe what we're doing is flourishing on Facebook. I just happen to the genre where we're in, the clients in, is heavy on LinkedIn. It's business to business in most cases. So the business model itself doesn't care too much about Instagram, even though we're utilizing it, and it's doing well, but it's not doing what LinkedIn is. That's where everybody goes for what we're looking for, what we're selling and what they're looking for. So is it just LinkedIn decided this month that they're going to do less with our content because we're pushing it out more often? Like, who knows? And, we talk about the content, right? So they don't like the way the cover of the podcast looks. Like they have enough intelligence in their platform to look at our thing and go, nobody's going to like that white background. We think they like the blue background more, so we're not going to show it to as many people. Like the target is constantly moving and nobody knows where it's going. So it's hard to stay on top of it. So I just kind of revert back to the old stay in your zone, right? Like, I think it's completely dictated, not completely, as much dictated as your personal circle and who's watching and what they want from you on each individual channel that you have versus, or in addition to LinkedIn deciding what they want to show and what they don't want to show. So here's what I mean. You know, Greg, it could be, you were talking about something earlier, like you go on TikTok and you watch some of these you ever watch these ASMR videos?
Yeah.
Right? They make me fucking crazy. Like if I leave it on for 6 seconds, I'll kill 4 kids. Like,
oh my God.
No, I mean, I'll snap, dude. I can't even take it. So I push through so quick that they're not, even though it's so highly produced, the algorithm has to know that people like me are getting the hell out of there. Like, that's my circle. Now, do they do well? Yeah, because there's people on the other side of that go, like my wife does that. I'll catch her watching these videos where they're like peeling soap. Like, don't you have something to do? Like,
yeah.
There's like these crazy, and even some of the cooking videos have gotten to a point where it's ASMR cooking now, and all you hear is like the chopping of the knife. Those I can almost stomach for a little bit longer, but I'm out of there. They're some of the best produced videos on TikTok, but my people are not watching them. So that ASMR following, the cooking ASMR, has a following, and they know that those people are going to stick around for longer if they use those sounds. So who's right? Who's wrong? Right? Like, there's just so many moving targets. It's so difficult. And I promise you that when we figure out why we're being hamstrung 50% on impressions in LinkedIn, the minute we figure it out, they're going to switch the algorithm up again, and we're going to be chasing that. Right? We're going to be chasing that higher, whatever. So it's just, to me, it can be, I just keep my mouth shut a lot of times because it's almost like, you know, when people go, well, you know, the data says you should post on Tuesday mornings. And I'm like, yeah, they polled 48 farmers from Oklahoma. Who cares? That's not
I really don't think that timing of posts matter at all anymore.
It matters. No, I do think it does, but it only matters to your circle. It only matters to the eyeballs that are watching you on the platform you post, right? Like if you're dealing with a bunch of people that are out on the West Coast, if you're posting at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're just going to get less impressions.
It's true. That's a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me because we live in the world now of we pick and choose so much. We have filters and guards as to what we want to see. And we think about algorithms. It's not an algorithm. It's how people interact with your content. That's all it is. That's all it ever is.
Yeah, but if I'm 3 hours late to your content and I don't see it, there's a pretty good chance I'm not interacting with it.
I don't agree because the algorithms have gotten so good. If you've interacted with my content before, it will be shown to you later on if it's deemed in that first round. So I always think of everything in like first batches. You post something and you get silence in an hour. If you haven't had one person interact with your stuff in an hour, it's a terrible post. It's not speaking to anybody, right? If you get good content within an hour, whether you're East Coast, West Coast, Chinese, Australia, like whatever, the algorithm is going to serve that post up to you at a time that's relevant to you when you're on the platform at that time. So like that takes the heavy hitting out of it. To me, I'm more on the camp of really, really think about and focus on and be hypersensitive to what you post that does really well and just keep doing that style because that works for your community. Okay. And we do the exact opposite. We do the exact opposite on our RU Nation, right? We just continue to brute force push Facebook Live, even though we know that Facebook Live isn't a thing anymore, but we do have a following on podcasts and that back end side of it. So we're like the fathers right now. Don't do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
we come from experience.
Yeah.
So just know that, everybody who's listening, if you are laughing about that. But no, I think the content that you make right now, if you're getting crickets within an hour, you're getting shut down and you're not going to be served to other people. So focus on, if you know you have a banger now when you post something and you start getting comments within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me break in on this real quick. You know, there's valid arguments on both sides of what you guys are both saying. What I have found in regards to doing posts and experimenting and watching other people, because a lot of us, what I've found in just observing, and I encourage everybody else to do the same thing. Go watch the people that you interact with and see what people are posting about. I guarantee you, when you start paying attention, you see them post the same fucking shit all the time. People are always in the gym. People are always out walking. People are always in their boat. People are always, peacocking out with their, fancy cars, big houses, new listings, whatever it's going to be. There's no deviation in content creation. That's what I'm trying to get at. Now, when I deviated, and I knew I was going to get a bump on this, I just didn't know how much of a bump I was going to get. I was in San Francisco several months ago at the dog park. Shocking. I know, that's so weird. But gunshots rang out right next to me. I was within about 25 feet of a drive-by shooting. And that was a new experience for me. And all the cops showed up. Yeah, all the cops showed up. There's shell casings everywhere. They'd cordoned off the area. So my ass toddled into the middle of it and did a fucking video story. Well, I just survived my first San Francisco shooting. And I lit up like a Roman candle. I mean, it got thousands and thousands and thousands of views, hundreds and hundreds of comments, because it was different and compelling. I think that you're both right, but you have to have something different and compelling that people want to engage with. Howard Stern is and was originally amazing because nobody knew what the fuck he's going to say next or do next. So people had to stay tuned. Same thing for you. If we get predictable, our content becomes blasé, boring, vanilla, wet cardboard on a rainy, windy day. It is useless and it is of no value. So if you entertain me, educate me, and just overall make me have some information that I didn't have before that I can then talk about with friends or family or coworkers or anyone else that brings value to my life, now you're an asset. So what can you do? What can you create? What can you record? What can you document? What can you bring to light that's relevant to people that are around you that will engage with you? That's my take on this. So you can post every once a week. You can post consistently, but if you're not engaging and you're consistently using canned bullshit, people are going to tune you out. It's like going to a dinner party and talking to the most boring person who talks about the same shit every day. There's a guy at the dog park in Walnut Creek. Very nice man. He only talks about baseball and everything else is in baseball analogies. I like baseball. I sure shit don't love it that much. I tune him out. See what I'm saying? There's nothing compelling there. I know what I'm getting. So stand out a little bit, be a little bit different, and let people see who, let your freak flag fly and let people get to know you a little bit in your life experiences. I will shut up. Gentlemen, back to you.
Why are you shutting up? I feel like that was the most we've gotten out of you in 6 weeks.
Yeah. That
was good. Well, keep drinking that coffee and that water, dude.
Dude, it's lemon water with lots of seeds, and the coffee's right next to me. So yes, sir.
Attaboy.
So let's dive into this. Now, Nick's not going to cut me off unless he's going to cut me off.
He might. Yeah, he might.
I know he will.
I'll wait till you get going again.
There he is, right there.
Yeah.
All joking aside, so one of the things that I did this last weekend, and I wanted to play around with it, and this is a little tip for all of you guys. And I'm going to share my screen, so everybody who is listening to my voice, I will walk you through this, with just quick conversation. So I was kind of wondering what to do with this new open house, and kind of what I wanted to do in regards to, bring some value to it, right? What can I do to make people excited about it? Give some value to out of town people. So I'm like, well, let's go do this. So I jumped on to neighborhoodscout.com. And so let me bounce this back here. This is what it looks like.
We've referred to that a couple times on the show.
We have. I have a new take on it, though, now for you, though.
Oh, all right.
So at the top, you have a search bar where you go to neighborhoodscout.com, and it'll encourage you to type in enter an address, city, state, zip code, lat, or long. You don't need the latitude or longitude. And if you actually can get those, that's amazing. But you don't need that. I'm going to type in a zip code. So this is Alamo. I'm going to do an open house in Alamo. So that's 94507. Alamo, California pops up. I'm going to go down here and click on it. Now, while that thing's ramping up, what it always does, it's going to show that zip code here in a second. Now, those of you who are watching the screen, you'll see that the Alamo zip code is outlined, and then there's multiple different subsections in it, right? You can see me moving my mouse around. It's copying different sections. So we were in Alamo, Square, right? Basically downtown Alamo. So outlined where it is, very easy to find. And I scroll down, and there's real estate pricing overviews, notable and unique neighborhood characteristics. Then it talks about the people, modes of transportation, real estate, occupations, diversity, neighborhoods, languages, ethnicity, and then getting to work. So I copied all of this, right? And I went over to ChatGPT. I said, write this in a bullet pointed conversational kind of document, right? I want to see what it came up with. So it went through that whole article and it came up with this, and we titled it "Fun Facts about Alamo, California," which I put a little header up there and a little footer down at the bottom with my photo and contact information.
There's no way there's 13 fun facts about Alamo.
Just shut up. Actually, we deleted 2, so there's actually 7. There are actually 15, Dick.
Shithole. What a shithole.
So it gives things like
not San Francisco, Gene. Calm down. Alamo.
What a shithole.
Wait, listen, go to number 2. You can always tell by the top one when they're like, try out the town center.
It's called Town Center. Would you just quit crapping on my parade?
Town Center's number 3. It's just fucking exactly what it says.
I know.
I didn't read that. I'm just saying. No. I pulled that out of my ass. I actually did not read that. I was making fun. It happened.
He's so excited to bash and rain on Greg's parade. He's so proud of his ChatGPT.
So proud of this. Anywho, we're gonna meet Gene. It gave her some fun facts about the neighborhoods. Like the neighborhood has the lowest vacancy rate of 7.6%, which is lower than 51.9% of the neighborhoods in the U.S. Stuff like that. And this is Gene's favorite area. The Alamo Town Center neighborhood is wealthier than 99.9% of the neighborhoods in the U.S. And it has a very low child poverty rate. Very well.
They mentioned the Town Center in 4 of the top 6 posts.
Oh my God, Greg, Gene is fired from this whole conversation.
Greg, if you can make Alamo sound attractive or quote unquote fun, I'll hire you as my realtor. That should be the criteria.
Dude, I can do that.
That place looks like a fucking ball of laughs.
Who the fuck brought this? You know what? There's such tech issues. God.
Gene is just fiery.
Brutal. It's like,
unbelievable.
I think he looked and he finally got pissed off at himself for being so bald.
Unbelievable.
God.
Listen, for my people that love me in Alamo, I'm only teasing.
You fucking nutbuster. Jesus. If you can make Alamo sound good, man, I'm gonna hire you.
Yeah, you're
starting rate is $500,000 a year. Anywho, what it is, I took this and I gave this out to all the people that came through the open houses, and despite all Gene's criticism, people loved it, and they actually found value in it because they're like, oh my God, I didn't know blah. Now we left out languages and ethnicity for any kind of steering rules or any kind of issues with legalese in regards to allowing, not allowing, quote unquote, people to live in certain neighborhoods. We left those out. But this is all just, county data, city data, state data. I mean, it's nothing proprietary at all. But take a look at it. That's one of the things that we did with GPT, and then we went high tech and then low tech with it and door knocked around it, and people absolutely ate it up. So, by the way, with handing that out, this is the cool part about this. We were at the house, and one of the neighbors came by because I went out and I did 100 door knocks and I did 300 cold calls around this property. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was able to pick up about a $3 million buyer. And the guy called his buddy out of Berkeley and says, hey, you got to come take a look at this house. The realtor here has all these cool facts about the neighborhood, Gene, that you might find very interesting, Gene. So he came over, he looked at the house, and we're looking at properties together, Gene, because of the fun facts.
Now, so here's an interesting part about that. I'll say this: in hand-to-hand combat, which is what you were doing, right? You were providing value because you were handing this person a piece of paper that took effort to create.
Yes.
And you're meeting that person in person. It's a different scenario. Now, if you took that piece of paper that ChatGPT made for you and just threw it up on social media as a post, you would get this many people to like it. I promise you, because it's very little effort. Accepted. So let's do that. I want you to just throw it up there as if it was a McDaniel, Callahan, whatever realty group, whatever it is. Like, here's just a post. Here's a general thing that ChatGPT made, because it's too broad of a thing and it doesn't really speak to anybody. But when you're in the moment with somebody and they're in an open house and it's very targeted and you're there meeting them and they're getting this piece of paper that's very relevant to them at that time, that's a good post in person, right? You have to do the same thing on social media, but in a different way. So I like it as an in-person thing, or that's something. If you were door knocking, were you handing that out to people as you were door knocking?
Yeah, I could. I easily could. Yeah, that'd be easy peasy to do.
So again, that's effort. You're in person. There's a lot of effort. It's just I look at social media right now as it's not free. Everybody has a real mistaken notion of like organic content is free content, and or because it's not paid advertising, it shouldn't cost you money and it should be a low effort activity. That's not the case anymore. That changed years ago. If the people that you see that you idolize as being very successful online, I promise you, not only spend time, which is money, lots of time creating the content that they create, they have teams of people behind them that are actually creating and posting and scheduling and editing and doing all the things on the back end to make the content really good. So organic is totally flipped on its head. There's people spending just as much, if not more, producing organic content as they were 5 years ago paying for advertising. It's completely shifted. So if you're just going out there randomly posting stuff without much effort and not spending any dollars on any production value, and there's no effort involved, there's a reason why your content is getting 0 views. It's just the nature of what it is right now. Our sniff test as viewers, we've gotten very spoiled as to what we see on a daily basis and what we're impressed by. So like, again, us, when we first started Real Estate Uncensored and started doing StreamYard and live podcasting, it was a very cool thing to do because it was new and there was effort involved and people didn't know how to do it. It was intriguing. Now it's not hard. Like people just go and do live StreamYards. It's not a big deal anymore. So like everything is always graduated into different levels. So how are you graduating on your social media? Are you doing the same exact things, or is it just stagnant? Because that's the thing, is the implementation of organic content now is so much more involved than what it used to be. You need an expert advisor like Gene or somebody who's, doing this at a high level. I don't really do it much for people anymore. I had a team a year or so ago, but it's so much work. I know I'm negative Nancy right now, but negative Nick, but I just want everybody to really fully understand that the amount of effort it takes to be really organically viral is tremendous. It's not just an easy thing to do that, what's the first 3 seconds of the video? What's the hook and all? There's so much more to it than that. I don't have a point to that, but besides shitting all over everything, like Gene shat all over Alamo. So I'm shitting all over organic social media right now is an easy thing to do because it's not.
This is just turning into a shitty show. So, I took this and I tried to post it onto my stories. I may have to resave it do it from my my phone. But I am going to test your theory, Nick. I'm going to see if
post it.
Your criticism is there. I'm going to tag both of you in this, so you guys you'll see whatever takes place. Let's do a couple of quick takeaways for people who are thinking about who are going to go out and get some new listings. Nick, for folks that tuned in here a little bit later, very quickly go over the top 3 action items that you described earlier in the show that the gentleman has done using the Likely.ai data, which is the predictive analytics. So basically, it's literally like the old 8-ball little game we used to play. You'd shake it around and then all of a sudden a wish would show up. You'd ask it a question. This is the 8-ball of real estate leads. You shake it up and you say, who should I talk to in the next 90 days? And boom, here's a fucking name. Go talk to them. That's likely. So go shake up the 8-ball. Nixon give you some information where to get a hold of them and kind of run your database. It is free. I don't make any money, guys. I make 0 money. Zilch. Nada. I've only had to pay to be a part of them. It's because it's my family and everything else, but they're amazing. The data is amazing. Go take advantage of it. But Nick, break it down. Simple points. How to get listings now.
Yeah. I'll give you an asterisk. I do make money, and Likely has contracted me to help them promote their product, and I don't promote other people's products unless I believe in it. So I'll just tell you that You guys have known me for long enough on this show. If you're new to the show, I don't just promote bullshit, right? It's either my products that I believe in, that I created out of people that have told me I need this thing, or Likely has been the only other product that I've put my stamp on because I know it's good. So go to likely.ai, get a 14-day free trial. And then once we tell you who in your database or who in your market is likely to sell in the next 90 days, you call those people first. So the highest likely to move, you get them on the phone, 10 days of pain, you get in front of them. You're going to call those people. The second tier people are the moderate people. Those moderate people, you're going to set them up with yellow letters complete on a direct mail campaign. Okay, this is old school, new school kind of thing, right? We don't have to run the Facebook ads to get 100 bullshit leads to get to 10 people that actually want to do something, because likely.ai data is going to tell you who those 10 people are that want to do something. So forget about the old school way of doing all the Facebook ads and stuff that's time consuming and costly. We're just going to tell you who to market to. And one of the best ways to do that right now that we're seeing is direct mail. Yellow letters complete has a great solution. It's very inexpensive. Handwritten notes works really, really well. Step 3 is take all the people on that list and set them up on your IDX feed on a very specific neighborhood drip for their neighborhood zip code, right? Zip code is optimal. And those 3 steps, Stephen Gindel, who's a market center OP at Keller Williams, he took like 60 something leads in 90 days, or 60 listings in 90 days, not just leads, doing those exact same 3 boring steps. So do the boring work so that you can then listen to our show and we can tell you how to do cool things like social media and video marketing. And one thing I'll leave on this is I want you to think of, I said it's very hard to cut through the noise on social media, and I just sounded very difficult and negative on organic social, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or whatever. But I want you to think about one concept that'll help you a lot, which is a category. Okay. So in our minds, and like Greg said, we tend to tune people out very quickly. There's only a certain amount of categories and buckets that you have in your head that you're willing to give time and attention to, right? So if you think about in your mind, I want you to think about how many different podcasts you listen to, how many different shows you watch. You have content categories in your mind. I watch this show because I like to laugh in this way. I watch this documentary because I like to learn in this way. I listen to this podcast because I like to learn that. So you have these people that are in your mind as category kings. The problem is with real estate agents, for the most part, you can't be a category king as a real estate agent to your market. That's going to sound counterintuitive, but everybody knows a real estate agent. Okay. We are not mythical creatures. We're not Bigfoot. Everybody knows 5 or 10 real estate agents. So what I see most real estate agents doing is they try to push through the market and be that category king as a realtor. Don't do that, because everybody's trying to be that realtor. You need to be the category king in another way, like what Greg was mentioning, the category king in the triad area of Winston-Salem. And he does different things, and he educates people on what's going on in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with an asterisk as it relates to real estate, but it's not all about real estate. Okay. So if you can become and create or carve a category king for a thing in your market, and that could be your neighborhood farm. I've seen guys do really well with restaurant reviews, other things that people are interested in, and then they get to know you and your personality, and you become the category king. Let's say restaurant, because Ramon does that very well. Winston-Salem Eats Wednesday. He reviews all the restaurants in the local area. So he becomes a category king in someone's mind when they think of a food reviewer in Winston-Salem. And, oh, by the way, I like this guy. And he makes really cool content around new construction homes too. And I'm thinking about moving, and that's why I'm going to move to him. So think about yourself as, how do you create mind share as a category king? Don't think about it as realtor. Think about it as something else, because you want to be the Joe Rogan of podcasts for your category. And I don't know what that category is. You have to define that for yourself. But that would be the easiest way for you to slice through your market, is by creating your own category king. And it's not just being a realtor.
Okay, and we're going to end on that one. That was awesome. Shit, Gene, I feel very under. I can't really match that last bit there. I'm speechless.
And I was hoping you were going to come to me and say, what are your last marks on
Gene, let's break through that. Edit team, please go back 1 second. And Gene, what are your thoughts about what Nick just said?
No. Edit team, you don't have to go back. I was going to say, I don't want to convolute or dirty the message. Just go back and listen to what he said and do it. I would love for people to take those 3 steps he talked about and report back on the new commission. That's what I would like.
There it is, guys. Gene, so that's your takeaway? That's your last takeaway as well?
Yeah, there's no takeaway from me today except follow what he said and do it. Exercise it. He said there's going to be 3 people in a room of 1,000 to do it. Be the 3 people. Let's go.
Let's go. I like it. I'm going to go with Nick and Gene on this one. Guys, just take action. That's my number 1 takeaway. Like Nick was saying, like Gene has said for years, all of us, guys, we can give you a bajillion ideas. I mean, our ideas are not our problem. It's implementing them on your side. Back in the day when I was going to Howard Britton events, the old Star Power events, he would give us very thick notebooks. Like, I'm not kidding, about yay thick, about 3 to 4 inches thick. And then every single day we would go to the main sessions and go to the breakouts. And then at the end of that day, we would take 5 ideas from the entire day. Those 3 days, we'd have 15 ideas. And then at the end of that, we'd pick 4 of them total, and then we'd implement 1 per quarter every year, come back, monitor our successes so we didn't go overwhelmed. So the main takeaway there is you already know what you're going to do. Your next job is to take action. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of failing. You're going to fail at some point, at some level. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's okay. That's totally fine. It's a learning curve. Just go with it. But your competition isn't going to take action. They're going to be stuck in fear and in reverse mentally when you're plowing forward. Now, you could be going 1 mile an hour. You could be going 100 miles an hour. The point is that you're moving forward. So I applaud you already. So keep going, keep moving, start moving. Don't look back. Don't look around. Guys, losers look around. Winners look forward. You don't give a shit what your competition is doing because they're not looking at you. And if they are, you're doing something right. So keep
the result that you want the most is behind the thing that you want to do the least.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I did that with my drinking. I cut 95% of my drinking out of my life. Couldn't feel better if I tried. Said, you know what? I wanted a different life. I took action on it. It sucked when I really cut back on that alcohol consumption. And that's really getting personal with you guys. But the reason why I'm sharing is that if I can do it, you guys can do it. So let's rock and roll. Not takeaways. Gene, where they can get a hold of you, GeneVolpe.com. I'm assuming that's where they can find you. Any new phone numbers that are hidden? Maybe 1-900 number?
No, none of those things at all.
Oh, damn it. Okay, Nick Sakis. Go to nicksakis.com. Where else can people get a hold of you? And talked about entering likely.ai for a free trial. Tell us about that.
Yeah, just likely.ai. Go there, sign up for a 14-day free trial. Let us put our money where our mouth is. We've been doing it a lot lately, and just having very much I love to see the brain explosion. So we're traditionally different than other companies and I'm still in the lead gen space, right? I still run tens of thousands of dollars a day on Facebook ads. Like, that's still a thing. Okay. So don't think that's not a thing, but that's not the only thing in real estate anymore. With Likely Data, we can omit that side of the equation where you used to have to try to generate the leads and then follow up with the leads to find the few people. We just give you the few people that you need to talk to. And it's very simple.
It's bone-numbingly simple, guys. As a practitioner of the product, I was the original ever to see this product in action. It'll make your heart stop at times. So go get it right now. And then, guys, thanks. My takeaways. You're always so generous to ask me those. My takeaway again is just action, guys. Action. Do it. Scare yourself. Have fun. Repeat. Watch. Ask for advice. Watch videos. Keep doing. Don't look around. Just make it happen. Colors on the bows on the show. Nick, color for the bow on the show.
I will go with likely blue.
Okay, we're going to go with blue, my favorite. Gene, color for you, please.
Let's offset it with a little green.
Green.
Money green.
Okay.
Green money. Roof Max green. Mr. Brian Offner in the house.
Sure.
Money. Ho! Who the fuck is this calling me right now?
And Gene, let everybody know where they should subscribe to the best ASMR channel on TikTok.
I don't know. I can't sit around long enough to see the damn screen, dude. Are you kidding me?
What is this AMSR thing?
ASMR.
ASMR.
It's the thing where we'll talk about it offline.
Hold on.
Yeah, there goes the rest of your day. You're just going to go down the rabbit hole of
sleep and relax.
The people
no.
that eat are the ones that kill me the most.
This is
like
the one with the
food.
noises, right?
Yeah, the noises. Yeah.
So what's
That
it
is
stand
so
for?
fucking weird.
I don't know what it stands for.
People go nuts, dude. They love
Tony
that.
Barbarino might know what it stands for. He was chiming in on the what do you say, barbecue? Somebody eating barbecue. I've seen different ones where they eat and they're just
Oh my
like,
god, dude.
just
Oh my god.
terrible.
I'll find you. I will find you and kill
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I will find you. Oh my god.
All we have to do is find a way to embed buy
He
real
said
estate with Nick
it.
Sackis, buy real estate
it.
with Gene.
Yeah.
Buy real estate with Greg McDaniel.
Yeah.
Anyways, there it is, guys. There's your show. We're putting a blue bow for Likely Blue, and we're going to be putting a green bow for Money Green, baby. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us, guys and gals out there. If you have guests that you think that we should have on the show, please reach out to me on a DM on either Instagram or Facebook. So Greg McDaniel REU on Instagram or Greg McDaniel on Facebook, and then Greg McDaniel on LinkedIn and everywhere else. Also, show ideas. If you have an idea for a show, let us know. We are love to hear from every single corner of the world, and if we can address it, we absolutely will. But we can't do it if we don't know there is a request for it. So please submit, guys, ASAP. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we can't do the show without you. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for spreading the word, and thank you for being the amazing people that you are. And until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.